Aaron Blake is a political reporter for the Washington Post. He joins us now. Aaron, you wrote that Trump's base is officially crumbling. What makes you say that?
Well, there's been a number of polls in recent days here in addition to the CBS poll. We have seen a kind of steady decline in the number of Republicans who are supporting him. We see in a new CNN poll the number who strongly support him has declined from 73% in February to 59% today. There was a Investors Business Daily poll which showed last month 83% of Republicans supported him. It's down to 71%. So we're seeing just kind of momentary, incremental shifts in these polls that suggest that the base strategy that the president has been employing for his entire presidency, basically, the idea that as long as Republicans support him, then Republican members of Congress can support him, that's being called into question right now.
And despite all of that, CBS News found 60% of Americans view the economy as good right now. Now, 46% of them also approve Trump's handling of the economy. How can we make sense of some of those numbers? I guess, is the president getting credit for the economy right now?
Well, I think part of it is that the president is not getting credit. I think if you look at other polling, people attribute the economic progress that we're seeing right now largely in a majority part to President Obama, who is responsible for, of course, many of the policies that we're seeing today. We haven't seen major economic legislation signed into law by President Trump yet. Another part of it, though, I think, is that it's actually pretty remarkable that the president isn't doing better given the economy is so good. If you look throughout history, the state of the economy is very strongly correlated with the president being popular. Given the unemployment rate is historically low right now, you would expect that the president would bear some of the benefits of that, and yet we haven't seen that. And so I think it's a little bit of an indication that Trump's penchant for controversy is indeed hurting him as president.
Does it also mean that his base doesn't care as much about the economy, or am I making a leap that I shouldn't be making?
No, I think they do care about the economy. I think that they're with him, you know, because of the economy, because of many other things. I think that when you look at independents, this is really where it's kind of more remarkable that they're not standing by him, given the economy is so strong. If you look at periods in history where we've had unemployment rates at 4.3%, we almost always have an extremely popular president. So it's a pretty unusual set of circumstances that we're seeing right now.
Aaron, where do you think this puts Republicans? You look at states like Nevada with Dean Heller, Jeff Flake in Arizona. This poll shows 32% approve of the president's handling of health care. How do you think that impacts when you're looking at the Republican strategy overall and leadership about whether they continue to support this president or remain somewhat removed?
Well, I think it decreases the likelihood that they'll continue to go along with what the president says. That was a very difficult vote for Dean Heller to take on health care. He was reluctant, and then he went along with it. In the future, if the president is not popular among his own party, if members like Dean Heller, Jeff Flake, other members, more conservative members even in the party, don't feel like the base is all that insistent that they support the president's agenda, that's going to make passing things even more difficult than it is right now. So the president's approval rating among Republicans is really important to keep an eye on going forward.
One of the signature issues for him also immigration. Only 37% like what he is doing on immigration right now, 57% disapprove. What can we make of that?
Yeah, I think the border wall is a big reason for that. Certainly the polls have long shown about 6 in 10 Americans oppose that. I think that's what people associate with his immigration policies. If you look at the kind of run the gamut of all the policies that the president has been pursuing, whether it's immigration, whether it's health care, whether it's tax reform, whether it's the travel ban that he signed into law, or he signed it as an executive order earlier this year, almost all these policies are broadly unpopular with the American people. And so when people are asked whether they approve of what he's doing on these individual issues, that tends to filter down.
I want to ask you, your newspaper is reporting just a few minutes ago that North Korea is now making missile-ready nuclear weapons. When you look at the fact that the president has yet to respond to the crisis in North Korea, you look at the polling, 61% said they're uneasy with the president's ability to handle the situation. Where do you see this going? What's the sense moving forward?
Yeah, and your poll also showed that only 29% of people supported military action right now. That was higher among Republicans. They were actually split, 48 in favor of military action, 47% in favor of diplomacy right now. I think that the more we see reports like this, the more we see a ratcheting up of the rhetoric, there's going to be more of an impetus for action of some kind. And this report, by the way, by the Washington Post today, suggests that North Korea is actually approaching the red line that the Trump administration has set rather quickly. The Trump administration has said that North Korea would not be allowed to threaten the United States homeland with nuclear-tipped ICBMs. That seems to be where they're heading right now, and a lot faster than people thought they would be.
And based on this DIA assessment, do you get the sense from Washington that military action is a viable option that they're thinking moving forward?
Well, it's certainly something that National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster left on the table this weekend. In an interview with Hugh Hewitt, he said that that was, of course, going to be an option. They're not taking anything off the table. Other options that are reportedly being discussed right now are putting battlefield nuclear weapons back on the Korean Peninsula, where they used to be, and also expanding multilateral negotiations over what to do about the North Korean threat. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen right now. Obviously, this has just been reported, but certainly a lot of these options are already being discussed and even discussed publicly.
Aaron Blake, we appreciate the insight. Thank you.
Thank you.